Welcome to Glaze's Giza Garage. This week we're going to start assembling the Roadster shop chassis after it's been powder coated. I actually did most of the rear section. I'm going to start on the front section this coming week, I should say. And hope you guys enjoy the video. It's turning out really nice. I think you're going to like it. Well, as I start putting the first component back into this powder coated chassis, you'll see how handy my mini bridge crane comes in. So this third member, this Camaro SS independent rear suspension third member, is very heavy. Probably a couple 100 pounds, maybe more. But I'll show you how easy it is when you have this XYZ hoist. Okay, got the differential torqued into spec. Everything looks good. Looks nice in there. What I started to do with the suspension parts, as I said on the Spec 7 Roadster shop chassis, this is all C7 Corvette suspensions, wheel hubs, A-frames. This, of course, are the two rear A-frame sections. This is the lower. These are the shock mounts, coilover shock mounts. These are the uppers. And here's your half shafts. But what I've done was I glass beaded all these in my handy dandy glass bead machine. And then I cleared them all with a good durable clear that's designed to go on bare metal. And what that does, it kind of gives it that natural aluminum look, but yet protects it from any stains. So I'm pretty happy with the outcome. I think that the color goes well with the chassis, personally. You know, here's the chassis color. You can see there, I think it's gonna look real nice. I'm gonna put the rear suspension together and see what it looks like, but still have the glass bead the front suspension. I'll show you how you do that. And then we'll go from there. Okay, I'm gonna start by installing the lower rear A-frames. As you can see here, I love the way this color turned out. It's natural glass beaded aluminum with clear coat. As you can see, it really looks nice against the metallic powder coated chassis. Now I'm gonna, of course I didn't tighten the lower A-frame, but now I'm going to install the upper A-frame and the hub, the bracket that holds the hub. So, yeah, let's get at it. What I'm going to do here is roughly, I say roughly, align this up parallel to the frame by putting a straight edge, a level, measuring from the frame here, which is 3 9/16. Now here, I'm a little off. So I need to take the back in some more. You just take this little handy dandy wrench here. First, I think I need to tighten it up just a little so both of them are engaging. So let me do that. It's not that one. Probably 18. It is 18. I'm going to do that by hand. Give me 1 second. Okay, what I did was I actually just roughly, I just leveled this. I don't know what the settings truly are, but I'm going to make it level. So I'm straight up and down. There's no camber, I think it's called. And then what I did here was I took this flat with a hub, and then I measured to the chassis, which I'm thinking is relatively straight. And I got basically the same measurement here to here. So good enough for a rough estimate to roll it around. So I'm gonna snug these bolts up and then we'll go from there. So going to install the shock now. It's kind of an odd setup. It goes upside down actually, which is I think kind of interesting. But the adjustments on top, the adjustment for the shock itself, I mean, the adjustment for the springs on top, it's kind of odd. You don't usually see that. I mean, I've always done it that way, but I look at the instructions and it definitely says to do it that way. So, very interesting. Side A-frames and shock installed. I don't have any of the bolts torqued to specs, so I'm going to do that. But the nice thing about Roadster Shop is when you buy their chassis, they give you complete assembly, torque specs on every bolt, really nice 3D pictures. Yeah, so they do a great job. So pretty easy to put back together. I want to kind of show you how close this matches the chassis. So this was just aluminum, glass beaded and clear coated. And there's the chassis. I really like the looks of this. It's a little shade different, but I really like the way it looks. Looks like it was meant to be. The great thing about that was I didn't have to tear all these suspension parts apart, bushings and all, because you have to powder coat it. I guess there is some low temperature powder coating you do, but I can tell you a good automotive grade clear is cheaper than powder coating as far as these small pieces go, so, and a lot less disassembly and assembly. So I really like the way that looks. So if anybody wants to try that, glass bead all your aluminum C7 chassis parts and then just clear coat them. You have to get a good durable clear coat though. But yeah, real happy with that. A little lesson I learned here was I should have read the instructions closer, because at least the driver's side half shaft, you have to put it in before you put the A-frame in. I had to drop the bottom A-frame down to pull it back enough just to get the half shaft in, you know, get the spine through here, and then the hub goes on there with the bearing. So just put that in your notes. Okay, I'm just going to repeat the same thing on this side. As you can see, I already have the shock sitting in there. Going to go ahead and put the half shaft in, so I don't forget that. Got a little protective cloth right there so I don't scratch up the half shaft or my chassis. So yeah, let's start putting this together. Well, I believe the trick to this is actually assembling the hub, the backing plate, to this section first. Torque these 3 bolts down, because once you put the shaft through here, it's very difficult to get to these. I did get to them, but I think this is the best way to torque it down. And then of course you have to torque this bolt down too, but I think that's easier to get to than these 3. So I'm going to go ahead and torque these down. I also believe that the next best sequence to this is actually attaching the lower A-frame ball joint, because without the shaft there, I can get in there and torque this down a lot easier. It goes to 65 foot-pounds. So 65 foot-pounds. I'm gonna double check that. That is correct, 65 foot-pounds. Oh yeah, that's a lot easier to get in there and torque that now. And there you go. All torqued down. That's the way to do the sequence right there. Now you slide this assembly in there. The shaft slides in here. The shock slides in here without trying to compress the shock, so everything's a lot easier this way. So you want to pre-assemble everything just like this. Backing plate, hub, it's all torqued down. Much easier to work with. Good deal. Let's put this assembly in. This is where I'm at so far. I got the sway bar in, I got the parking brake cables all in, backing plates on, A-frames, coilover shocks, my battery tray, my battery box that goes in the back. There's part of the parking brake cable, which from a previous video you saw that it goes to this e-stop actuator. But anyway, yeah, really looks nice. Real happy with the way it's turning out. Show you a few things. I have the calipers on there just for aesthetic purposes. I'm waiting on the disc brake pad pins before I can mount these permanently, but they look real nice on there. So I have all the rear suspension in, including the sway bar, my parking brake linkage. I've got the e-stop parking brake actuator on, just wire tied the wire back. Got the third member in, got the half shafts in here. I have these all torqued down. I've got the big nut torqued down. What's unique about this chassis, I think, is two things. One is the battery tray. If you look right here, I put the battery in the back. You'll have access from underneath, and you'll have access from your floor and your big tub kit, dynamic big tub kit. So I'm really happy with this. It's split here because you can take this half off and then pull the battery out the back. If you're going to do that, you do have to remove the rear portion of the exhaust, which is actually only 2 clamps and 2 bolts right here. So not that hard to do that. But by putting the access in the floor, you'll be able to get to that battery from inside the car too. So 2 ways to do that. Here you can see again the parking brake linkage comes around very close to where the stock unit was. Utilize the same factory brackets here to hold the cable. I actually utilize one of the factory brackets here and customize this in to look like the end that's over on the other end of this cable, which worked very nice, and then married these 2 components through one of the couplers that came stock. I just had to squeeze it down here. If you look real close, I squeezed this down because this is a little bit smaller on this one, but because this cable is just a little bit smaller, but everything worked out. See here, got the snubbers in. Yeah, looks real nice. I like the way it came together. It looks very nice. Nice and neat, everything's clean. If you come up front here, don't have much done. Just have the rack and pinion clear coated and in. I've still got to bead blast my front A-frames and get those clear coated and start getting this front end together. But you got to be careful with this because if you get too much weight on the back on a 2-post lift, I can actually lift this frame with one hand. So don't want to put too much more weight in the back because that could be a problem. This thing may tip up in the air. But it's okay now. But I'm real happy with the way things are coming together. Once I get the front suspension on, then I'll start working on the motor and the trans, drive shaft, all that stuff. Get it all mounted in here. So yeah, real happy with it. So yeah, that's our update this week. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hey, thanks for watching this week's video on Glaze's Geezer Garage. As you can see, I really enjoyed assembling this Roadster shop chassis. You know, the finished project is really fun to do because you've done all this prep work, all the powder coating, you've cleaned up all the parts, you've clear coated them, you've built a battery box, you did all these things, you created this parking brake, and when it all comes together in a finished product and the color schemes work the way you want it to, you know, this frame is going to really marry up to the pearl white paint job on the car. Red interior. I'm really excited about it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember, like, subscribe, and share. We're trying to grow our YouTube channel. It is growing, but I'm a little impatient. I like it to grow a little faster. But remember, if you're enjoying the videos, like, subscribe, and share. We really appreciate it. Next week, we're going to start working on the front suspension, drivetrain, get it in, exhaust, polished exhaust, everything's going to come together. This chassis is going to come together. Then I'm going to focus on the body. So I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, like, subscribe, and share. And give me some comments or questions. Appreciate you guys. Take it easy.